I'm Omar Escobar, and I'm running to continue to be your district attorney. Okay. Analisa Garza was pushing for indictments against persons named in the audit. She even talked to federal authorities also about the audit, and nothing came of it. Perhaps there was other federal investigations that we didn't know about at that particular time going on, but nothing had been acted on, but they were pushing for it. And I always said, if you're going to try to have somebody indicted, you better have some kind of evidence, at least some kind of evidence backing it up. And if the feds had not acted on it, I knew that defense attorneys was going to say, well, if the feds didn't act on it, why would the state act on it? So it's strange now to see them all united together with the person that has been central to this since, I would say, at least 6, 7, 8 years before, and maybe even longer. Person central to this was Leo Lopez. And now they're all dancing to his tune. Not me. They're all going to dance to his tune now. So in 2014, if you go back and you analyze Gocha Ramirez's response to the ¿Qué más quieres, Gocha ad, which everybody in Rio Grande knows about, in that particular ad, Gocha says or blames Bacho for supposedly sending another board member to talk to him about running for office. I'm going to submit to you this, that actually Leo Lopez was the one who spoke to Gocha. And the reason Gocha didn't want to mention this board member is because Gocha always had a connection to Leo Lopez. And when he says it doesn't take a genius to figure out who made money off construction in Rio, he's talking about Leo Lopez. He just doesn't want to name him. And that's because of the friendship and deep connection that he had with Leo Lopez. That's why he doesn't want to name, that's why he will not name Leo Lopez in those ads. So Leo Lopez has had designs on the DA's office since 2014. So in 2014, Leo Lopez already had designs on the DA's office. Leo Lopez was already planning to get me out of office. In fact, Leo Lopez was the primary motivator and campaign, fundraiser for Chuy Alvarez. So Leo Lopez has been after this office since back in 2014. And Leo Lopez is one of the key players even today. Those particular connections never broke. That's the point. Those connections always continued. And maybe they went hidden for a year or two, but those connections never broke. Even Leo Lopez's connections with Danny never broke. You can see that in the result of the elections in 2016, when all of Danny's team wins except Martinez. She loses to Leo Lopez's wife. And the only thing that I could surmise was, of course, there was an underground agreement between Danny and Leo Lopez that Danny would not push against Leti Lopez. So these connections have always been there. And so we begin to see these connections continue now to play out even up to 2019. Leo Lopez continues to be one of the driving force. He's sort of now not so much in the picture, or tries to pretend like he's not in the picture. But Leo Lopez has had designs on the DA's office since 2014. In fact, I'm going to say that Leo Lopez, even as of 2013, 2014, he was going to try in one way or the other to also enter Roma, to try to get into Roma ISD, and try to make connections here or there. In some way or another, he was just not successful in getting into Roma ISD. Roma is a different world, and Roma was not necessarily going to accept Leo Lopez and any of his construction companies or anyone else to sort of enter. But we could see that, at least I could see that Leo Lopez was trying to make designs, or had designs to try to get into Roma ISD. but he just wasn't successful. Instead, he was out in Weslaco and he was out in Rio, but he was certainly looking towards Roma ISD to make connections there. So it wouldn't surprise me that in the future, or in the near future, you might see some companies that are associated with Leo Lopez trying to make headway into Roma ISD, because really they're one big family now. Analisa Garza, Gocha, Leti, you can take them all, Norberto, they're all part of one big family now. But at the head of that family is Leo Lopez. Nobody should be fooled about that. Leo Lopez is still pulling certainly the strings. And maybe Analisa is the one who had the closest relationship with Gocha. But Leo Lopez is there right now, and he says that he's got the swing vote to control Rio ISD, and so he really he wields that. But there, if you look at the people, Dr. B, Danny, Eliazar Velasquez, they're all Pinos people now, including the entire group that supports my opponent. They're all Pinos people now, and I find that interesting, though, that those connections they were never broken. Your district attorney for Starr County, Duval, and Jim Hogg counties.